No one's coming. Let that sink in. No one's coming to push you out of bed. No one's coming to yank the remote out of your hand. No one's showing up to tell you, hey, enough TV. It's time to chase your goals. No one's going to knock on your door and say, time to change your life. No one is going to walk into your room and say, let's go, it's time to become who you're meant to be. The truth is cold, it's harsh, but it's real. No one's coming. And life doesn't care. It doesn't slow down because you're tired. It doesn't pause when your heart is broken. It doesn't give you a break just because things are hard. Life is hard, brutally hard sometimes. It's hard when you're 49 years old, working at the same place for 17 years, and one day they just hand you a piece of paper and say you're done. 1 week's pay. That's it. After almost 2 decades. And now, you have to start over again. How do you do that? Where do you even begin? It's hard when you're married, raising kids, trying your best. And then, out of nowhere, the love of your life dies gone. No warning. Now it's just you, trying to hold yourself together while raising a family, broken and alone. That's real pain. That's real life. It's hard when you pour everything into something. Your money, your time, your soul, and then it collapses. The business fails. The idea flops. You're left not only broke, but responsible. You didn't just lose your own money. You lost theirs too. How do you look people in the eye after that? How do you look yourself in the mirror? It's rough. I've been there. I've lost jobs. I've had months where I applied to everything that moved, and nothing came back. I've borrowed money and made promises I couldn't keep. Told people I'd pay them back by Friday, and Friday came with empty pockets and a full plate of shame. And if you're listening right now, thinking, yeah, I've got big ideas, but I just don't have the motivation, let me stop you right there. Motivation isn't what's missing. Motivation is a myth. It's a lie we tell ourselves to justify staying stuck. The truth? We're wired for safety. Our brains are ancient machines, built for survival, not success. We are biologically programmed to avoid discomfort. Anything scary, unfamiliar, uncertain, our brain screams, nope, that's danger. So of course you don't feel like working out. Of course you don't want to wake up early. Of course you don't feel like cold calling or studying or speaking up. You're never going to feel like it. That's the trap. We think we need to feel ready to start. But readiness is a myth too. If you want change, if you want to build something real, a business, a career, a better body, a better life, you're going to have to do things you do not want to do. You're going to have to move while you're scared, act while you're unsure, push while you're tired. You won't feel like it, and you'll have to do it anyway. And if you don't, you'll wake up one day and realize that nothing changed because you didn't. You'll realize that the only thing standing between you and the life you wanted was you. I know, because I used to have a victim mindset. Everything was someone else's fault. Why didn't they support me? Why didn't they see my worth? Why didn't they give me a chance? But the truth is, it was me. It was always me. I made the choices. I stayed silent. I avoided the work. I sabotaged my own success. And the hardest thing I ever did was look in the mirror and say, I'm sorry. Not to anyone else. To myself. I'm sorry for what I've done to you. For how I've treated you. For what I let happen to us. But an apology isn't enough. I owed myself more than that. I owed myself correction. I owed myself a new standard. A new story. And most of all, I owed myself action. So I asked, now what? And I moved. Rome wasn't built in a day. You've heard that. But here's the part no one talks about. Rome didn't fall in a day either. It took time. Decay is gradual. Failure is slow and silent until it isn't. But so is greatness. So is mastery. So is transformation. It takes every day, every choice, every second you say yes to what's hard and no to what's easy. That's how you build it. That's how you climb out. That's how you become who you were meant to be. One relentless day at a time. Oh, I know exactly why that is. I've thought about it, studied it, lived it. I've spent years trapped in that same cycle, asking myself the same question over and over again. Why is it so damn hard to do the little things? Brushing your teeth when you're depressed, making the call you've been putting off, getting off the couch and doing 10 push-ups, opening your laptop and working on the dream you said mattered most. Why is it so hard? I'll tell you why, because it's not about time. It's not about talent. It's not even about discipline at first. It's your mindset. Back then, I was stuck. And not just stuck in life, I was stuck in me. I was walking around with a victim mindset. Everything was someone else's fault. My failures? Their fault. My lack of progress? Well, it didn't support me. My pain? Caused by this person. My struggles? That situation. It was the outside-in theory of life. The belief that everything that should elevate me, motivate me, push me, rescue me, was supposed to come from outside of me. Someone was supposed to show up and say, "Hey, you matter. Let me help you." But no one came. And the longer I waited, the deeper I sank. When I finally stopped pointing fingers, when I finally turned inward, I saw the truth. And it wrecked me. The anger I had been carrying for years, the frustration, the bitterness, the stories I told myself about why I wasn't where I wanted to be, it was all misplaced. I wasn't stuck because of them. I was stuck because of me. My thoughts, my habits, my excuses, my fear. And the scariest part? I was creating my reality. Every single day, my thoughts were shaping my actions. My actions were shaping my results. And my results were reinforcing my beliefs about myself. It wasn't life punishing me. It was me repeating me. The hardest thing I've ever done wasn't quitting a job or ending a relationship or starting over from zero. No, the hardest thing I've ever done was look in the mirror and take full responsibility. Not just for what happened to me, but for what I didn't do, for what I avoided, for how I treated my own potential. I looked at myself, eye to eye, and said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry for how I abandoned you when things got hard. I'm sorry for all the times I numbed your pain instead of healing it. I'm sorry for lowering your standards and calling it survival. I'm sorry for making you small, for silencing your voice, for settling." But an apology alone won't fix anything. You don't just owe yourself an apology. You owe yourself correction. You owe yourself change. That moment changed my life. It was raw. It was uncomfortable. It was lonely. But it was also the first time I truly stepped into power. Not power over anyone else, but power with myself. From that moment forward, I made a choice. To stop waiting. To stop blaming. To stop expecting someone else to hand me the life I wanted. Because guess what? Rome wasn't built in a day. Yeah, we've all heard that. It's become a cliche. But here's what they don't tell you. Rome didn't fall apart in a day either. No, it took hundreds of years. Decay is slow. Collapse is quiet. Neglect happens little by little until it's too late. And your life is no different. You don't gain 50 pounds overnight. You don't lose your spark in a single day. You don't destroy a relationship with one word. It happens in the small moments. The skipped gym session. The unspoken resentment. The extra hour of scrolling instead of building. Destruction is a slow burn. But so is transformation. You don't build a powerful life overnight either. It happens with daily discipline, with deliberate effort, with courageous self-reflection, with every small choice you make in the dark when no one's watching. It happens when you do the hard thing when you don't feel like it, when you get up early, when you say no to what's easy and yes to what's right, when you put your pride aside and learn, when you own your part in the mess and build something new. Worthwhile things take time. They take struggle. They take heartbreak. They take failure and healing and starting over again and again. And that relentless pursuit, day in, day out, that's what separates regret from legacy. So ask yourself, if today were the first day you started taking full responsibility, what would change? And then ask yourself, if today were the last day you could, why haven't you?